Did you know there is a town in Pennsylvania that has been on fire for over 60 years? A river so old it predates the mountains it cuts through? And a lake that bubbles and steams even in the dead of winter? This is Pennsylvania. Not just cheesesteaks, steel mills, and a cracked bell, but a state where geology glitches, rivers misbehave, and history goes completely off the rails. Here are 10 insane Pennsylvania facts that sound completely fake, but are 100% real. In the 10th place, a frozen sea of stone sprawls across the woods of Carbon County, Hickory Run, Boulder Field. Imagine 16 acres covered edge to edge with massive sandstone blocks, as if a glacier dumped its cargo and vanished. This is not a rock slide or a quarry. It is a periglacial block field sculpted by the relentless freeze and thaw cycles of the last ice age. Each winter, water seeped into cracks, froze, and shattered the bedrock until a carpet of boulders blanketed the ground. For 20,000 years, these rocks have not budged. Today, the field is so rare, it is protected as a national natural landmark inside Hickory Run State Park. Step onto this alien landscape, and you will find rules posted: no collecting, no moving rocks, and drone flight strictly by permit. It is Pennsylvania's own geological glitch, proof that the state's secrets start with the ground beneath your feet. Number 9. The river older than the mountains. The Susquehanna River doesn't just wind through Pennsylvania's valleys, it actually carved its path before the Appalachian Mountains even rose. This is the mind-bending reality of antecedent drainage. As the Appalachians began to push skyward more than 100 million years ago, the Susquehanna kept flowing, relentlessly slicing through the rising ridges instead of being diverted. Deep, narrow water gaps, where the river cuts straight through mountain walls, stand as proof that the river's course refused to budge. Geologists have traced ancient zircon minerals in the riverbed, confirming the waterway's prehistoric roots. According to the Pennsylvania Geological Survey, the Susquehanna's path is a relic from a vanished landscape, making it a river that predates the very mountains it divides. In Pennsylvania, even the rivers can rewrite the rules of time. 8th place, the Triple Divide, where one raindrop chooses 3 destinies. A plain roadside sign in Potter County marks a spot that defies the rules of geography. Here, a single farm field splits its rainwater 3 ways. Droplets can flow south to the Gulf of Mexico by way of the Allegheny and the Mississippi, north to the Atlantic via the Genesee and the St. Lawrence, or east to the Chesapeake Bay through Pine Creek and the Susquehanna. Local tourism calls it the only triple continental divide east of the Mississippi, a claim hydrologists still debate, but the legend sticks. While most continental divides are high, wild ridges, this one sits quietly on a patch of grass, watched over by a pin dot marker. For selfie seekers and map geeks, it is a quirky crossroads where the fate of a raindrop becomes a choose-your-own-adventure story. Number 7. The steaming lake that never freezes. At the heart of Boiling Springs, Children's Lake gives off an eerie, swirling mist on the coldest winter mornings. The secret is not some hidden geyser, but a powerful artesian spring that pushes out water at a steady 68 degrees Fahrenheit, warm enough to send steam rising when the air dips below freezing. In the late 1800s, this natural hotspot drew crowds as a spa resort, promising health cures and relaxation by the water's edge. Today, the lake is a public park, still managed by the borough, its temperature logged, and its bubbling surface carefully preserved. What looks like boiling water is actually dissolved gases escaping as the pressurized groundwater bursts into open air. The effect is pure sensory magic, a natural sauna in the middle of Pennsylvania, where winter mornings come with a veil of steam and a hint of the state's spa town past. Number 6. The ice mine that freezes in summer. A 40-foot shaft outside Coudersport flips the script on winter and summer. Here's the twist. Ice forms thick and fast in late spring, clinging to the walls when the woods above are lush and green. It's not magic, but physics. Cold, dense air from shaded hillsides sinks into the mine every warm season, pooling underground and chilling the rock until water vapor crystallizes. By July, you'll find slabs of ice up to a foot thick, even as the outside bakes. Then comes winter, and the process reverses. Warmer air rushes in, the shaft thaws, and the ice disappears. USGS studies logged sub-freezing temperatures inside the mine through May. But by December, the chamber is bare. In Pennsylvania, even the seasons can get turned upside down. Number 5. The dinosaur tracks that weren't. Gettysburg and Valley Forge are legendary for their battlefields, but some local brochures claim they hide a prehistoric secret. They say dinosaur footprints were pressed into the very ground where history was made. The story describes three-toed tracks, supposedly left by Jurassic predators, peeking out from the rocks beneath monuments and trails. But here is the twist. Geologists say it is pure myth. The bedrock in both places is far too old, laid down during the Ordovician and Cambrian periods over 200 million years before dinosaurs ever appeared. Not a single verified dinosaur track from these sites is listed in the Smithsonian's Ichnology Registry or the Pennsylvania Geological Survey. What tourists see are natural erosion patterns, or ancient ripple marks, not fossilized footsteps. In Pennsylvania, sometimes the real shock is how folklore outpaces the fossil record. Number 4. The abandoned Pennsylvania Turnpike, ghost highway in the mountains. A superhighway left to rot. Pennsylvania's abandoned turnpike is a 13-mile stretch of road that time forgot. In 1968, engineers rerouted traffic around two notorious bottlenecks, the Buchanan and South Laurel tunnels. The old road, including 4.4 miles of pavement and both 1-mile-long tunnels, was sealed off and surrendered to silence. Now this concrete relic sits hidden in the woods, its entrances choked with graffiti and echoes. Exploring the tunnels requires a permit and a flashlight. The darkness is total, and the air grows cold as you walk deeper. Safety warnings are posted for a reason. The tunnels were left untouched with no lights, no patrols, and crumbling infrastructure. What was once a feat of modern engineering is now an eerie post-apocalyptic hike. It is a place where the hum of engines has been replaced by the drip of water and the crunch of gravel underfoot. This is where the modern world's energy story begins. Not in Texas, but in the muddy woods outside Titusville, Pennsylvania. On August 27, 1859, Edwin Drake drilled just 69.5 feet before striking oil, a depth so shallow it sounds like a typo. But that short borehole changed everything. This was the birth of Big Oil. For the first time, oil was pumped from the ground, not scooped from seeps, and sold for profit. Drake's steam-powered rig and iron drive pipe made it possible to drill again and again, launching a frenzy that turned sleepy Titusville into a boom town overnight. The Drake Well Museum preserves the original site, where you can still see the replica derrick and the hand pump that started it all. One modest well, one ordinary day. Yet it triggered a global rush that still shapes the world's economy. In Pennsylvania, even a forgotten patch of forest can rewrite history. Number 2. The 1889 Johnstown flood, the day the dam broke. A wall of water, 20 million cubic feet strong, thundered down on Johnstown when the South Fork Dam collapsed on May 31, 1889. Built as an earthen barrier 60 feet high, the dam was owned by the South Fork Fishing and Hunting Club, a private retreat for Pittsburgh's elite. Years of neglect and risky modifications left it dangerously weak. After days of relentless rain, the dam gave way, unleashing a torrent that killed 2,209 people in a matter of minutes and leveled the entire valley. The club's wealthy members, including steel barons and railroad tycoons, escaped legal responsibility because courts ruled the catastrophe an act of God. The tragedy forced the nation to rethink corporate liability and public safety, making Johnstown a cautionary tale where privilege and engineering failure collided with devastating force. And finally, in first place, Centralia, the town swallowed by fire. In 1962, a landfill burn ignited an underground coal seam beneath Centralia, unleashing a blaze that still burns beneath the town's empty streets. Over 260 acres of earth now sit atop a labyrinth of smoldering tunnels, venting smoke and toxic gases. By 1993, the government bought out nearly every resident, leaving just a handful of stubborn holdouts on 5 lonely parcels. Scientists estimate the fire could burn for another century, maybe longer. The haunting, post-apocalyptic landscape even inspired the look of the Silent Hill video game. Centralia stands as Pennsylvania's most chilling secret, a real-life ghost town abandoned to an invisible, unstoppable inferno. Across all 10 entries, one truth stands out. Pennsylvania's wildest realities hide just beneath the surface, sometimes literally. Here, geology rewrites the map, history warps expectations, and disaster lingers in the landscape. In this state, the unbelievable is everyday life. Which shocker blew your mind? Drop it below.